What do you do with those moments? For me, it turned into a massive amount of fuel. Those countries that I visited were all in the back of my mind because I remembered when I said no to myself. And so if the opportunity came, yeah, I'm taking it, sure am. You're gonna go backpacking to Palestine and you don't know anybody? Yes, yes I am. You're gonna go live with a strange family in Morocco? Yes, yes I am. Because there are moments you do not get back. And I have treasured the moments that I've challenged myself. And I tell even my kids, do not say no to your dream. Even if nobody else sees it. You have an obligation to chase your own greatness. It may not feel like it if you're within an organization, but it even matters within the settings that you have. Because when you opt to do that which nobody else has done, when you choose to dare when nobody else has dared, you'll give your staff permission to do the same. If you are afraid in your lead, they will be afraid in their follow. Tom Butler Bowden wrote, optimistic people tend to be successful, not simply because they believe that everything will turn out right, but because the expectation of success makes them work harder. Guys, at the end of the day, this is all a mind game. It is not the amount of skills that you have or the talent that you possess, because we all know people who have talent and skills and they don't amount to a hill of beans. It's about whether or not you believe, whether or not you can actually activate your mental space and say, that opportunity will not be denied me. No problem. So, what are we going to do? You ready for some instructions? Yes. Okay. Here's what we can do. First, learn that there is power in failure. We are in a culture that says you are supposed to be successful. We hide when we make mistakes because we're afraid of what the repercussions will be. But what that also does is it puts us in a position where we try our best to not have any errors. And I'm not talking about numbers errors. I mean, you guys deal with some things where it needs to be right. But there are other things, like attempting new programs and doing projects, like executing things in the community that are outside of your traditional scope, like engaging in community development in a very different way. Those are things that you could attempt that may not necessarily be what you were measured as successful on the first time around. But if you look at those moments as learning moments, opportunities that will allow you to improve, that's a very different perspective than going out thinking that the first run has to be perfect. No first run is perfect. Even when we see those who are professionals, whether they're athletes or people who get up and speak all the time, your first time is not going to be perfect. So give yourself the opportunity. Because if you're always getting perfect, give your team the opportunity to grow, to fail. But if you miss the mark and have it set in your plan that if it does not work out the way we hope, the next time, how do we do it better the next time? What do you learn from this moment? So that next time we go a little bit further. See your kid, if you so we only created 10 accounts from now. That's okay. Next time we'll aim for 15. Their first attempts to walk. But give yourself space. They look terrible. They do. Their heads are bobbing because they're usually too big for the little bodies. They stumble and fall. My encouragement and what we say is, oh, it's okay. Let's try again. And we don't have to be all by something that they can hold people. And sometimes we build their confidence that feel like we have to be able to do everything, because if we can't do everything, then somebody can replace us. The confidence. Well, not necessarily true. Because if you can do everything, you're probably a shallow pool of skills. Because then your growth will be immeasurable. But if you are great at
Because
something,
you have created an environment.
you've done it
that
forever,
allows
when they think
people
about
the
that
opportunity.
thing, they think about you, oh, you're
It
valuable.
would give them the opportunity to say, if I come to my
I can't
CEO,
train
my
somebody
manager,
with all those years
and
of
propose
experience.
this,
I can't train somebody
and
who
it doesn't
does
work out,
that thing.
it would be okay. And
Because
then
if
the
you do it
next
the
thing might be
best,
it may be the
what are they
best
gonna
thing.
replace you with? Somebody
There's
that just
power.
picked up a book
Yeah.
or looked up something on Google? Now that's job security. Become a specialist. So that when they think of it, they think of you. Third, I want you to monitor your tribe. And we all have tribes. You know who your tribe is? Some of us, our tribe is our family. Some of us, it is the friends that we have. Now, when it comes to family, you don't elect them. They just come with you when you come into the world. And sometimes they're great, and sometimes they're not. You can laugh, they're not in here. Sometimes your tribe is not great. But let me tell you what your tribe is at its best. Your tribe is a group of people who believe in you even when you don't. Your tribe is those people who will say, you go out there and you do that, and it's going to be fantastic. Your tribe is the people who say, yeah, you failed, but that's okay, because that fall was simply a moment in time. It is not the totality of who you are. Your tribe are the people who see you as your greatest potential. They are the ones who will look at you and see the greatness that is inside of you. Who your tribe is not is those who attempt to beat you down. There are eagles and there are chickens, and they don't hang out together. Am I wrong? So, if you have people that as you soar, as you attempt to grow as a leader, as you attempt to take your branches and your companies to higher levels, who look at you and say, you know, I don't think you should do that. We're not doing that. Well, who are you? That's a chicken. Don't hang out with chickens. Because they're going to encourage you to stay on the ground. And sometimes you staying on the ground is just so they have some company. Because they can't fly as high as where you're attempting to go. So if they can't keep up with you, they'll just actually stay right here. Stay right here next to me. You know what you tell those chickens? I can't say that here. But you don't hang with them. And sometimes you cannot completely sever relation, but what you can do is not share your vision with people who don't have the capacity to see their own. Those are just the people that you network with. And you tell them, oh man, I'm sorry, I don't even have cars today. And you walk on. Because they can't handle where you're going. But those that you allow to be in your circle, those who know where you're aiming to go, the dreams that you have, the destinations that you want for your future career, that's your tribe. And those are the ones that you're able to trust. And what you will discover is that as you are building trust in them, they're also building it in you. And you'll be able to move together. So when we walk out of here, we're going to aim to be great. As simple as it sounds, it is really hard to do because it means you're going to have to resist the temptation of mediocrity that comes with good. It means that you're going to have to scare yourself a little bit. How many of us operate on all cylinders? You don't have to raise your hands, I know you have coworkers in here, but on the inside, most of us are probably rocking at about 75. If you're in retirement, you're at about 60. I'm almost out of here.
40. 40, because you're looking at, I don't have months to go. They're not getting anything else out of me. But retirement does not mean death. You still have things yet to do.
And then whatever that thing is that you opt to dedicate yourself to, I encourage you to give it 100%. For your own self. And for those people who are looking at you, whether those people are your children, the other people in your circle, your network, your coworkers, what happens when you decide to live unbridled is that you give other people the permission to do the same. Even if it scares you guys, go be great.